my privilege to present House Bill 1076, the Firearm Protection Act. The co-author of the Second Amendment, George Mason, stated, "To disarm the public is the best and most effectual way to enslave them." He, along with the rest of our founding fathers, believed that as good as government leaders could be, they also understood the depth of depravity that people who came into government were capable of. And they held that the Second Amendment was the bedrock of all of the constitutional rights, and if we lost it, we would lose our liberty and we would lose our republic. The 2007 Supreme Court case of the District of Columbia versus Heller, in the majority opinion, Justice Scalia revisited a distressing episode in American history involving free slaves and guns. And this is what Scalia wrote. It's very compelling. He said, "Blacks were routinely disarmed by southern states after the Civil War. Those who opposed these injustices frequently stated that they infringed a black person's constitutional rights to keep and bear arms as a means to provide for and defend their liberty, while the other side said that blacks had no right apart from involvement in an organized state militia, of which they were not allowed to be a part of." The Supreme Court, in the District of Columbia versus Heller, ruled that the Second Amendment did in fact go beyond state militias and was in fact a personal right for all Americans. The Second Amendment is a guarantee for all Americans, period. Rich, poor, folks of any race, creed, of any faith, we all have a basic right to live as free men and women. During the early days of our war for independence from England, and again 100 years later during the Civil War, there's a scripture verse that was on the tongues of nearly every man under arms. It was Galatians 5:1. It states, "It was for freedom that Christ set us free. Therefore keep standing firm and do not be subject again to a yoke of slavery." That verse is a guarantee of man's spiritual freedom. And our founding fathers understood that the Second Amendment is a guarantee to man's earthly freedom. And just a few short months ago, the federal government stated that it would in fact infringe on our Second Amendment rights in respect to the size of magazines and the specific appearance of any style of rifle. And within a few days of that statement, my sheriff, Tommy Gage, who I'm so proud of and who's going to testify before you today, announced that neither he nor any of his deputies would follow any federal law that infringes on the rights of Texans to bear arms. And here's the problem, and Tom Glass has stated it over and over again: it places law enforcement in a terrible predicament. Now they're forced to choose between following a federal law that infringes on our Second Amendment rights or upholding the oath they took to protect and defend the Constitution against enemies, both foreign and domestic. House Bill 1076 answers the question clearly without any ambiguity. Section 4003, subsection 4 states that agencies of the city, county, or state government may not adopt a rule, order, ordinance, or any policy under which the entity enforces a federal statute, rule, or order, regulation that purports to regulate a firearm, firearm accessories, or ammunition, or institute a new form of background check that does not exist under the laws of this state. Further, it also states in subsection 4H, a person who commits an offense if, underline if, in the person's official capacity, they knowingly, underline knowingly, enforces or attempts to enforce these federal laws that infringe on our Second Amendment rights. And we put that in there under the insistence of local law enforcement to give clarity, because we wanted to make sure that an out-of-control DA, where there's a dispute between a district attorney and law enforcement, could not use this law to go after another law enforcement person. We want to be very clear and put that to rest. In fact, it was San Antonio law enforcement that spoke here earlier against a previous bill has come out in support of our bill as a result of that language. So we just wanted to put that to rest, and I hope that you'll move to support this bill, and if I can answer any questions for you, I'd be happy to do that.
Okay, thank you, Representative Toth. Members, any questions? I want to recognize Representative Steve Toth that I've invited to sit on the dais with us today. There's great interest in the issue at hand, and
Reserve the right to close. Thanks,
Absolutely.
Chairman.
Thank you.